17th chapter, 38th through the 49th verse. 1 Samuel 17, 38 through the 49th verse. Now we stand for the reading of the word. And it reads, So Saul clothed David with his armor, and he put a bronze helmet on his head. He also clothed him with a coat of mail. David fastened his sword to his armor, tried to walk, for he had not tested him. And David said to Saul, I cannot walk with these, for I have not tested them. So David took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand, and he chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag, in a pouch which he had, and his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine. So the Philistine came and began drawing near to David, and the man who bore the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked up and saw David, he disdained him, for he was only a youth, ruddy and good looking. So the Philistine said to David, Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, You come to me with a sword and a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, who you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you and take your head from you. And this day I will give the carcasses of the camp of the Philistines to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord does not save with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into your hands. So it was when the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, that David hurried and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. Then David put his hand in his bag and took out a stone, and he slung it and struck the Philistine in his forehead, so that the stone sank in his forehead, and he fell on his face to the earth. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. If I may use for a subject this morning, this day your giant shall fall. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, this day your giant shall fall.
Bless your name.
To give a brief historical account of the preceding text, we find the children of Israel have caused themselves to be in an inflammatory and volatile situation. Under the leadership of Saul, they have drifted and fallen from the favor of God and is on course to be enslaved by the hands of their arch enemy. The thorn in their side, the itch that they can't seem to scratch, them folks that get on their nerves. Y'all know who they are? The Philistines. And now a great conflict is set to arise as the Philistines have positioned themselves in close proximity to the army of Saul. They have organized themselves in battle array against the children of Israel. Keep in mind, this battalion of warriors have defeated Israel in several of the previous battles. So at this point in the war, Israel was discouraged, depleted, and dismayed. For in chapter 16, Saul's spirit was troubled, and he called upon a young David to minister him with the string instrument. For God had rejected Saul as the reigning king of Israel. Then verse 4 says, a champion went out from the camp of the Philistines named Goliath from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. According to theologians, the exact measurement of Goliath was 9 foot 6 inches.
All right.
We have this giant standing 9 foot 6, boldly standing before Israel. He cursed them and their God and challenged them to the ultimatum. What was the ultimatum? I will kill you and you become my slave, or you kill me and I become your slave.
All right.
So when Israel heard this, they became very afraid. See, understand that today that there are, they came face to face with giants. There are some people in here who's been enslaved by giants in your life. Everyone's giants may be different. Someone has been bound by addiction. Someone has been a hostage of an abusive relationship. Someone has been held captive in a financial bondage. Somebody has had to rob Peter to pay Paul. Somebody can't seem to get out of debt. Somebody had to choose between light bread or light bill. You applied for that house loan, but you've been denied time and time again. Someone right now is going through the storm and the rain. Someone had the doctors to give up on them. Someone's marriage is in turmoil. Somebody got haters that just won't let them be great. Someone is on the verge of a total collapse. But I stopped by to tell you this day that your giant shall fall. No matter the situation that you may face, no matter the trial, no matter the tribulation, this day your giant shall fall.
Yes, bless the Lord. Hallelujah. Bless the Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So we have David,
Well,
the youngest of 8 sons. 8 sons of Jesse. Attended to his father's flock. And he was summoned by his father to take his 3 oldest brothers food and provisions to the battlefield, for they had been there 40 days. He left behind his responsibilities as a shepherd to be a servant to his brothers. Upon his arrival, as he was yet speaking to his brethren, Goliath came up and cursed them again. Then a man in the midst said, whoever kills Goliath, the king shall enrich him with great riches. Will give him his daughter and make his father's house free of Israel. And David heard this, and I can imagine the young David saying, I can get the riches. I can become a prince of Israel. Get freedom. And I get it done. Is that right? Show me up. Show me why I need to sign. What I'm trying to say is David saw Goliath as an opportunity and not an obstacle. See, he saw an opportunity to bless those around him. He saw an opportunity to relinquish the bondage of his people. I would imagine the fear that he saw on the soldiers' faces. I would imagine David considered the possibility of burying his brothers. I would imagine David dreaded the idea of his seed being oppressed. Understand that sometimes the victories that you win over your giants releases others from their bondage. We had some pioneers in history who saw an opportunity instead of an obstacle. Jackie Robinson, the first black in the major leagues, saw the vicious and racial attacks an opportunity instead of an obstacle. For without him, there would be no Barry Bonds. If there was no Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion of the world, there would be no Floyd Mayweather. Rosa Parks sat down on the front of the bus and was shaken. This sparked the start of the civil rights movement. If there was no civil rights movement, there would be no Black Lives Matter movement. If there was no Dr. Martin Luther King, Mel Perkins would not have defeated Smitherman in a landslide victory to become the first black mayor of Selma. And let me go a little deeper. We would not have elected Barack Obama as the first black president of the United States. Understand, the giants that they slayed catapulted our greatness and our success. The trials and tribulations opened the doors for us. But what saddens me is that as soon as we get some money, as soon as we get a title, as soon as we get a degree, as soon as we get a position, we get all uppity. We get in our fancy office and we turn around our nose up at the applicants. We get in our fancy cars and drive past folk that need a ride. We get in these high positions of authority and don't want to help folk. How quick do we forget that before we got that house, we had to live in a 2-bedroom shack with a house. Before you got that nice car, you had to push start a button, a kill switch to start that old beat up car that you had. Before you got that good paying job, you lived paycheck to paycheck and was borrowing from folks. And church folks, we go to church on Sunday, we go to Sunday school and learn a few scriptures and want to get out in the street and whoop folk with the Bible. We come in and we'll tear up all the pews on Sunday morning, be the loudest one in the building and the quietest one in Walmart when you see me on Monday. How quick do we forget that in the midst of our heartache and pain, when we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, we were at our lowest point, somebody prayed for us.
Mercy! God help! Yeah!
Great man!
Yeah.
So we have David,
David, let's look at it.
who is intrigued
Let's look at it.
by
Mercy.
the proposition and the reward, so he asked someone about it.
Yeah.
And in verse 28 it says that when his oldest brother Eliab heard it, he became angry.
Yes.
He said, why did you come down here?
Leave.
And with whom did you leave those few sheep?
Right.
Few sheep. It's 2 things that caught my attention in the scripture.
Let's see.
One, David left his responsibility as a keeper
Right.
to feed you while you were at war.
Right.
My thing is, how you gonna get mad with somebody
Right.
that stopped what they were doing, went out of their way to help you when you're at war?
Okay.
You ever go out your way to help some folks and they get mad at you?
Mercy.
You ever go out your way to help somebody and they want to handle like you were supposed to do it, like you owe them something?
Preach your help.
Jesus. Jesus.
Second, I sense some hostility with Eliab.
Well,
I believe Eliab felt some type of way about David.
Yeah.
Because see, Samuel chose David
Come on.
as the anointed over Eliab, which was the eldest brother, and his older brother. See, David was the youngest. See, Eliab was fine with David
I told them.
when he was his servant.
Yeah.
But as soon as he was about to walk into his blessing, his anger was kindled.
Yeah.
This wasn't just anybody in the street.
Right.
It was David's brother.
Jesus.
See, it's a bad thing when you gotta fight your foes, your friends, and your family too. Understand that it ain't always the strangers that put stumbling blocks in your way. Sometimes the biggest giant that you face in life share the same blood. Sometimes the biggest haters in your life call you cuz. Sometimes it's your ride or die that ride away from you and leave you for days. Sometimes it's your A1 from day one that they want to see you blessed in life. Sometimes it's your NIGGA that'll stab you in your BACK. It's the ones that's close to you. Let me tell you something else.
I like that.
Everybody in here ain't Davids. You gotta understand that we got some Goliaths in here.
Jesus.
Understand, we got some Eliabs in here. See, some of us can't stand to see folk come up.
Jesus.
So David accepts the challenge of Goliath.
Yeah.
He arms himself with 5 smooth rocks
all right.
Yeah.
and a sling, and he approached Goliath.
Yeah.
Then David put his hand on his bag and took out a stone.
I hear something change.
And he slung it and struck the Philistine in the head,
Yeah.
so that the stone sank in his forehead and he fell on his face to the earth. Before the fatal blow,
Yeah.
it is said that Goliath looked upon him with disdain,
Right.
for he was but a youth running in a fair country.
Right.
Understand, young people, that a disadvantage is not an automatic defeat.
Yeah.
To Saul and his army, he didn't look like a warrior.
Yeah.
To Goliath, he looked absolutely harmless.
Right.
To you and I, we would say he was not the prototypical soldier.
No.
Right.
In other words, he was not qualified for the job. What I'm trying to say is there's some folks that have looked upon you and underestimated the anointing on your life. It is some folk that have counted you out the minute that they saw you. It is some folk that didn't even give you a chance. It's some folk that said you will never amount to anything. Understand that in this season, God is about to allow you to walk into the job of your dreams with no experience or qualifications. Somebody's about to drive a brand new car off the lot and then have to pay a dime down on it. Somebody's about to put down on a house and they got jacked up with it. The haters about to lose their mind because the worst thing that they ever could have done was underestimate you. The worst thing that they could have ever done was motivate you and help you out. The worst thing that they could have done was kill you when they did have a chance. The worst thing that they could have done was knock me down and let me get back up. The worst thing that they could have done is let you realize how close you are to your blessing. Because I got a rock and his name is Jesus. And this day, my giant shall fall.
Oh, yeah.
Preach, man. Preach.
As I get ready to close,
Well,
we're going to go to the book of Matthew, 17th chapter, 20th verse. Very common scripture.
Come on.
Very common.
Come on.
And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief,
Right.
for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed,
yes.
you shall say unto this mountain, remove hence yonder place,
Yeah.
and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible. When I read this passage, I was reminded
Come on.
of a children's book.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
We all read the story, Jack and the Beanstalk.
Come on. Let's see now. Let's see.
And in the story, we have a young boy named Jack who lived with his widow mother.
Yeah.
They fell on hard times and was forced to sell off their belongings. They ran out of things to sell, so they sold their only milk cow.
Yeah.
When the cow stopped producing milk, they were forced to sell him to the butcher.
Yeah.
So Jack grabbed the cow and started on his journey to the butcher shop.
Yes, sir.
On the way, he met the butcher in passing.
Yeah.
Jack gives the cow to the butcher in exchange for 5 magical beans.
Yes, sir.
Jack went home happy, but his mother was disappointed.
Come on.
She was so upset that she threw the beans out of the window into the garden.
Yeah.
Jack went to bed and cried himself to sleep.
Yeah.
It is said that he cried all night long.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Oh, but the next morning,
Jesus.
he looked out and he saw the beans had took root and grown into a beanstalk to reach the sky.
Yes,
Jesus.
See, somebody has had trouble in your life.
Come on. Come on.
Somebody has cried out to the Lord all night long. Understand that the seed of faith that you planted is on fertile ground. And your prayers have reached the sky. God has heard your cry and pitied every one of your groans. Know that this trial is only temporary. For weeping may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Jesus.
So Jack climbs the beanstalk.
Yeah.
And at the top he sees a beautiful country. And from a distance a great castle. As he approaches the castle, he is met by a fair maiden.
Yes.
She begins to tell him a story
Yeah.
of his upbringing.
Uh-huh.
And she says his father was killed by the giant
Yeah.
that occupied the castle.
Jesus.
She said everything that the giant has is yours.
Yeah.
Mercy.
I need y'all to know in this season that everything that the devil has stole from you,
Yes.
God is about to give that back 100-fold. This is for my young people. Y'all listening?
Come on. Come on.
One of the biggest giants that you will ever face in life
Well,
That's it.
is a generational curse.
Jesus.
My. Preach.
See, the enemy has shifted his focus from the sire
Right.
and is strategically attacking the seed.
Right.
For if he destroys the seed, he destroys the future.
Jesus.
And if he destroys the future, he destroys the promise of God to Abraham that I will make you a great nation. Look at your neighbor and say, I am a great nation.
I am a great nation. Yes.
Preach, man.
But we're living in perilous time where this generation has fallen into the trap.
well,
My question for the youth today is,
That's it.
Did you not see what killed your father?
Jesus.
See, you see, your cousin went to prison for drugs.
Right.
So why you on the corner slinging rocks and rolling blunts?
Jesus.
Preach, man.
Mercy.
Preach, man.
You hate how your auntie drunk herself to death.
Jesus.
Put you in the club popping bottles. You despise your daddy for beating on your mama, but you're slapping your woman around.
Jesus.
You saw your uncle get shot down in the street, and you want to still be a gangbanger.
Jesus.
I'm here to tell you, young folks, that you have a choice in your life. Understand that your lineage does not determine your legacy.
Yes. Jesus.
Preach, man.
So Jack goes into the castle,
Yeah.
and he meets the wife of the giant.
Yeah. Come on.
And he asked her for some food. Just as he was almost finished eating, there was a thunderous knock at the door. It was the giant.
Right.
For a long time, I could not understand in reading that why he knocked on the door that he was living in.
Jesus.
See, God wants me to tell you today that some of the giants in your life, they did not enter by force. You opened the door and let them in.
Jesus.
Some of the hell that you're catching, you caused it. Some of the fires in your life, you set the gasoline and you struck the match.
Mercy.
Man, you better preach in hell, man.
As I get ready to close, I'm close for real this time, y'all. Jack come face to face with the giant.
Preach, man.
And the book said that Jack ran for his life. And the giant was gaining on him.
Yeah.
The giant ran so fast that he almost caught Jack.
Yeah.
But somehow he slipped and he tripped over a boulder.
Jesus.
Understand that in times of trouble, Jesus steps right in on time. The devil thought that he had me bound, but God blocked it. I'm so glad that he shall hide me. And Jack climbed down the beanstalk. And when he reached home, he grabbed him an axe. He took the axe and he cut the beanstalk down. And when he cut down the beanstalk, the giant had a great fall. Sometimes you have to cut some low-down family members off so that your giants can fall. Sometimes you have to cut off some trifling friends so that your giants can fall. Sometimes you cut off some fake church members so that your giants can fall. Yeah. Tell your neighbor, this day your giant shall fall. Somebody has been waiting on a miracle, but this day your giant shall fall. Somebody is sick and can't get well, but this day your giant shall fall. Somebody cannot pay their bills, but this day your giants shall fall. Somebody is bound by depression, but this day your giants shall fall. Somebody is ready to throw in the towel, but this day your giants shall fall. When you love your neighbor, your giants shall fall. When you give your tithe and offering, to throw up your hands and say, this giant shall fall. I know you got trouble in your life, but this giant shall fall. I know it don't look good, but this giant shall fall. The doctors gave up on you, but this giant shall fall. Look to your neighbors and neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. By himself.
Jesus.
David took the Lord with him.
Oh my God.